What's up, YouTube? Crypto Jack coming at you. Wanted to give you guys an update on the macro plan, everything we've been talking about for all our live streams. But I know a lot of you can't make it to the live streams, and in fact, you prefer to watch YouTube videos. So I wanted to put this together just to give you guys an update on what's going on. Let's jump straight into it. Okay, here we are. This is the macro trade range. We've talked about this on several videos, several live streams, on and on. And my theory has long been, all the way since the break back into the range, back in here 60,000 or so, a little under 60,000. The theory has always been that at some point we would come down and we would break below 30,000. That at some point during the quote bear market, we would come down here and spend some time consolidating. One of my favorite targets, and I have a whole video series on this. In fact, I have two videos on this, but one of my favorite target levels was actually based on the S1 pivot, the first support of the pivot. Again, if you're curious about the settings, here's your settings. I use the Woody pivots on yearly and 15, but you can see here that on Coinbase and several other exchanges that the S1 pivot got tagged, and your boy Crypto Jack got his fills, man. I am back on the bull bus, and I'm not saying it's up only from here. Let me finish out the video, and I want you guys to get on the same wavelength that I'm at. But I want you to understand that I have started building my macro long bags, and it is so funny to me that I'm starting to re-enter right about the same time that mainstream media starts talking about how awful everything is and everybody needs to sell and this, that, and the other. So it's very funny that I seem to continually be on the other side of the trade from the masses, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to mark on here exactly where I bought. I have big fills at 26,000 and big fills at 26 or 25,500. Now I had more than this. I actually had some. I actually had my bids because the S1 was so important to me. What I had done is layered my bids from 27,000 all the way down to 24. See, I considered this a big buy zone. So I layered and littered my buys kind of all through this. But the biggest chunk was concentrated between 26 and 25.5 because roughly 25.5 was right exactly where the pivot was. So I wanted the lion's share of my bags to have an average entry of that price. Now, again, I'm not trying to say we're going to do this. I'm not saying that. Do not get me wrong. A lot of people try to misinterpret me and say that that's what I'm saying. I'm not. The timing element of this cannot be ignored. If we look at the trends through the years, through the last decade or so, Bitcoin operates in these boom and bust frameworks. And typically there's not, oh, there we go. Typically, you're not going to get a sustained bull run until the actual halving. The halving is denoted by these vertical yellow lines. You're probably tired of hearing me say this because I talk about it every single video or stream or whatever, but it's that important, okay? So yes, did I get really good entries that I'm super proud of? Yes. Does that mean that we're about to go on this face-melting bull run? I don't think so. I mean, anything can happen, right? But the plan has got to be that this time is no different than the other times. And in that scenario, it would mean that we need the halving before we can actually have a sustained bull run. Now, it's also true that oftentimes the bear market lows come in well before the actual bull run. Just like around in here, I have this green box is roughly when the bear market low was back in 2019. If you play that into present, this green box again is a measurement of from the halving to where the lows took place, from the halving to where the lows took place. And again, we're several months earlier than I expected. I did not expect us. I have a time analysis and a price analysis. My time analysis said, hey man, you got a few months before we ever get down there, but that's not what happened. So luckily I had my bids ready and life goes on. What could likely be playing out though is a sustained period of sideways, even a little bit lower lows. So who knows? I'm not trying to say I have all the answers, big crystal ball. I don't. What I am proud of is that the short trade, the trade where I was looking to the downside, is effectively closed for me. So I was all in cash about this point, and I've had conviction to wait. And the charts were screaming to me that at some point we would be below 30. I've spent a lot of time talking about this, and lo and behold, we did. And so my long-term bags with targets of 2025, new all-time highs, that kind of thing, are begun. I'm roughly a third to a half entered, at this time with my average price being right around 25.5. So I'm a little, it's actually a little higher, 25,750, something like that. But I'm very happy with that, and I will continue to add through the month. So that's my only entry for about the next 4 weeks, and then I will look to add more maybe in the next month or two. I want to take this thing slow. Bear markets are never true. There's no such thing as a one-day bottom in a bear market. I know we'd all love a V bottom recovery, but that's not reality. We've never seen that. So just we need to be mentally prepared for all of that. So if you go to my ideas page on TradingView, you'll see that running the lows is something I've been looking for this was published on December 2nd. We talked about it for days before this, so really going back to November. But in any event, running the lows has been something that I've been focused on for a long time. And again, in this scenario, I thought it was very interesting how this mirrored strongly the S&P 500. Now, again, I know this looks like a V recovery, and if I limit one thing about how I drew this, and it's this, because a lot of people say, oh, well, you're talking about this moment in time, and then we go, and then they often miss that. No, this is just talking about market structure. The timing analysis is separate analysis completely, and that's this. And again, I will never say that we're going to see a big sustained bull run anytime before the halving. I do not believe that. I think you have to have a halving before a bull run. So these are two separate analysis, but it's still getting exciting. That's what I'm trying to say. This is still an exciting time, and I'm very proud to be back long, be back on the bull bus, and I'm doubly proud that we're long and strong, and we've stuck to the plan, and now people are starting to get bearish. They weren't bearish up here at 65,000 or 60,000 once the rising wedge broke down, back when open interest was at an all-time high, when mom's credit card was maxed out, so to speak. They weren't bearish up here. They weren't bearish in here. They weren't bearish there. They weren't bearish there. Now is where they're bearish. You see how silly that sounds in context? This is why I'm trying to portray it in that way. It's silly to be bearish at this point. This is the time when you should really be starting, in my opinion, right? NFA. This is the time when you should be putting together a long-term bull market strategy. So if you're not buying at 25, where are you buying? Where's your line? Is it 20? Is it 15? I have my own reasons for thinking we will never even see $20,000, and I'd love to be proven wrong, because I will be buying if we do, or taking out a loan or whatever. But we'll save that for another video or later live streams. But for now, I just wanted to give you this update just to show that, yes, Jack's target, which I was one of the very, very, very few people advocating for this, aside from Jason Lake. Shout out to Jason for coming on some of our live streams and being one of the only people I heard of any of my friends, analysts, anything, talking about 30K being broken, before inevitably the next bull run. So shout out to Jason. Shout out to anybody who had the conviction to take this trade with me and get their bags filled. And so I have personal friends that were telling me, hey, long and strong from 68,000, I'm not selling any of it. And the hard reality for those guys, the tough pill to swallow, is if, my entry's down at 25.5, I sat out a 62% drawdown while they ate it, and they never sold, and now they're thinking of selling it. You see how this is crazy? So all that to say, getting exciting. I'm looking forward to sitting in a grueling, painful, nasty bear market, because that's just how things go. But until then, we're going to keep doing our live stream. Oh, by the way, check me out over on Twitch. They changed my Twitch name from CryptoJack with the O with the number 0. They changed it to just all letters CryptoJack. So shout out to Twitch for giving me some love and hooking me up with that. So I'm going to spell it out just so you guys can see it. Over on Twitch, it's twitch.tv/CryptoJack. If you have any real time questions that you want to go over with me, I'd love to give you some feedback, give you some answers, and we'll go over anything you need. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thank you, guys. This is Jack out. I'm not trying to be perma bull Jack, perma bear Jack, just charts Jack. Just whatever the charts are telling you, that is all I'm good for. That's all I'm here for, and nothing else. I'm not your hype man. I'm not your bear guy telling you to sell.